Your dog grabbed her dog in the mouth.
And then all of a sudden I hear the door open and the dogs just come rushing, both of her dogs. They had leashes on, but she wasn't holding the leashes. And then my dog grabbed her dog and I yelled at my dog and whacked her in her head and she dropped the dog. And then that's when she was on her way.
Tell me your dog's name.
Faith,
How old is Faith?
11,
How long have you had her, Miss Highland?
since she was 5 weeks old.
When did you live next door to the defendant?
Yeah, it was across the way, but
It's across.
yeah, my side of the door faced her side of the door, and there was a grassy knoll in
Do
between.
you have a photograph of the area?
No, I don't.
Do you? I'd like to see it.
That's mine. And this is where hers would be.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so this is whose trailer?
Hers.
Miss Carrillo. Is there a street in between this area?
That's where hers would be, right
Where?
there. In that area where the rocky thing, right after the grass.
Kevin, give this to the defendant.
Maybe
and have
this
her
one's
put
better.
Where the plaintiff's trailer would be
Okay.
and where hers was.
This is where hers would have been, right here.
Just put plaintiff and show me where yours was.
Mine is right here.
Put it down. Let me see if that makes it clear to me, Kevin. Thank you. Yours is here, plaintiff's is here, and this large grass area is a common area?
Yeah.
It's a common area because you're all the way down here. This
Right.
is a relatively large space.
It's only like.
I wasn't
Okay.
talking to you.
Sorry.
Okay. And the incident that involved your pet, Miss Highland, happened on October 8th, 2021.
Yeah, it was actually October 9th after going back through the paperwork.
You are no longer in this trailer park,
No, it's an RV park, but yeah.
an RV park. How long were you there?
4 or 5 months. It was like mid to end of May, and this happened in October, and within 3 weeks,
You
got
left.
a place.
And that's your dog. That's
Yeah.
the dog that was injured that day.
Yes.
And what kind of a dog do you have?
A Vizsla mix boxer.
A Vizsla.
Vizsla, uh-huh.
So tell me what happened, Miss Highland, on October 9th.
I had gotten up and I was taking my girls out to go potty.
How many of those do you have?
2. I have a puppy that's almost 2 years old, and then Faith. So I was taking my girls out to go potty, and I'd been looking to make sure that the dog was inside, and I didn't see the dog, and it was on its chain under her trailer, apparently, because when we came outside,
Was your dog on a chain?
On a leash, yeah.
Well, what kind of leash?
that's not right.
Yes.
That's not true.
Well, that's a leash.
Right.
That's a
It
leash.
was
She says
on-
the dog was on a chain.
No.
Do you have?
Yes, it was.
I don't have a chain.
Shh.
Okay.
I don't have a chain. Never had a chain. It's been a leash.
Okay. Were you outside on October 9th at the time of this incident? Were you outside when it started?
No.
Yes. I was outside on top of my stairs.
No, you weren't.
Okay. You're not allowed to answer her. I'll come back to you.
Okay.
Okay, so you're taking your dogs out to potty. Were they on a leash or off leash?
They were on a leash.
But she didn't have
They
them.
go outside.
Don't speak.
Okay.
I always have them on a leash whenever they go
Were
outside.
they on a leash on October 9th?
Yes.
Okay, so you were taking them out, although you did say, Miss Highland, that you let them out in your front yard, is what you said, I believe, in your complaint. Let me see. You didn't say I took. You said I let my dogs out in the front yard to go to the bathroom. Well,
When I say let them out, let me clarify, okay? I'm always with my dogs.
I know that you say you were always with them.
Yeah.
That's not my question. My question to you was a simple one. Were they on leash or off leash?
Yeah.
Yes, what?
They were on their leashes.
Be careful. You took them out on leashes in the front grass. And what happened?
When we got down to the bottom of the steps, her dog came out from underneath the trailer and grabbed Faith.
Well, she was on a leash.
Yeah, but she grabbed her. The puppy started to go one way, and I had Faith and dropped her leash and the puppy was going, like she got out of my hand and was taken off, and her dog was under the trailer, didn't know it because I'd been watching to make sure she had been inside, but didn't see her or the dog out, and she came out of the trailer after the dog grabbed Faith.
In what location did her dog grab Faith?
Right by my trailer, right by my steps where I had my steps. The chain was long enough for the dog to go past the tree that was right there in between the two properties. And she came out and
Your dogs
started
came right
beating-
up to my
just,
dog.
just a
You
second.
didn't have a hold of the leash.
You're not.
That's
you're not-
because the
listen to
dog
me, you're
broke
not
free.
Sorry.
You want to continue with this case or you want to go?
No, I want to continue.
Then let's understand, we don't talk to each other. Okay, so your version of the events is that her dog was chained under her trailer. You came out with your dogs on leash. The puppy ran away. You dropped her leash. Her dog got your dog and took your dog back to her trailer.
Yeah.
At what point did she come out of the trailer?
After the second time, her dog had picked up Faith, and Faith was screaming, and I was screaming.
Okay, Miss Carrillo, have you ever had an incident with your dog before?
No, I
With another dog?
No, I haven't.
That's a lie, because you...
Shh. I want you to think carefully. Have you ever had another incident with your dog and another dog?
No.
How long have you had your dog?
Since she was a puppy, 9 years, since 2013.
And this is the first time she aggressively bit another animal?
Yes.
Okay. You have information to the contrary, Miss Highland?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
I'd like you to tell me.
Okay. When I first moved in, she even told me about how her dog had killed a couple other dogs.
Okay. Tell me about that.
She just told me to make sure I was careful with my dogs because her dog has a history of attacking and aggression towards
No,
other dogs.
well, those are conclusions. You first said
Yeah,
that her
she
dog
told-
killed two dogs.
She
and then-
did. She told me that her dog was aggressive and that it has a history of killing other dogs and that it had already killed other dogs, and that's why she got kicked out of her last RV park.
I've never lived at another RV park.
That's
That's
not-
my first RV park ever living at.
Where did you live before?
At my mom's on Ming Avenue.
Did you ever indicate to Miss Highland that she should keep her dogs close to her?
We've never spoken prior to the incident. We never, I mean, just maybe a hi. She just had moved in. I never spoke to her.
You want to tell me your version of what happened on the 9th of October?
Yes, I was outside on top of my stairs. I was sweeping. My dog was at the bottom of the stairs. I have her tied up to the stairs. There's a ring where I clip her leash to, so she can't go far. It's just this distance while I was sweeping.
Would you hand that to me, please?
And I can hear her dogs barking while they were inside.
Would you open it up for me? Okay, what you're telling me is that this is what you tied on to under the stairs. Where did you tie it?
This part right here. And then
Where?
I have
Where?
It, I have to show you how I have it, put it on. Can you give it
Yeah,
back?
let her show me.
I'll clip it onto her harness, and then this would clip
What
onto the
harness?
bottom. My dog's harness.
Are you telling me that your dog was on a 2-foot lead?
Yes, I have her right there when I'm right there. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
My neighbor can vouch to that. Yeah.
Newhouse,
Mr. Newhouse, how long have you been the defendant's neighbor?
2, 3 years.
Did you see the dog on that gizmo?
Yes,
How far do you live from the defendant?
directly behind Sierra. I'm just right behind her.
Behind hers. So you face the back or the front of her trailer?
The front of my trailer faces the back of her trailer. The door is the same direction towards the yard.
So that you don't see her front door.
Her trailer is angled so that I can see her front door.
Okay. You want to tell me your version of what happened on the 9th? You could sit down.
I was outside on top of my stairs. My dog was at the bottom. On the
On
bottom,
this thing,
On the
okay.
bottom, I have a hook that I clip her leash to, and she was sunbathing right there. I move her other places, but while I was there sweeping on top, she was right there. So then I hear her dogs inside that were barking, and then all of a sudden I hear the door open and the dogs just come rushing. Both of her dogs, they had leashes on, but she wasn't holding the leashes. And then my dog grabbed her dog, and I yelled at my dog, and whacked her in her head, and she dropped the dog, and then that's when she was on her way.
How did that happen?
What do you mean?
Your dog is on a 2-foot lead. You heard her dogs coming out. You were on top of the stairs.
Yeah.
You saw her dogs, according to you, running, and your dog is on this much.
This
much.
much, yes.
No, actually not that much, because you made a loop.
Yeah, that's the way I do it.
Well, not
did
a
it the
moment
wrong
ago.
way.
You made it. You
Yeah.
made a loop, so it was on about this much, and on about this much lead, your dog picked up her dog in the mouth. How many times?
Just that one time, and it's this long. You can see where the area is all dirt, where she stays on it and runs around it or misses in the dirt. The grass is still right there where it's nice and green, and the area that she sits in is right there, right in front of my stairs.
And so your dog grabbed her dog in the mouth, well, close to your trailer.
At my trailer, yeah.
At your trailer. And then you hit it on the rear end and she spit out the dog.
Yes.
And
then she ran towards her and she came towards her dog.
this little dog ran towards the plaintiff. The plaintiff ran towards her. And what did you do?
She went to get her dog, and I
What
grabbed
did you
my
do?
dog.
How did you grab your dog?
I took her off her leash and put her inside. And then I went to see if her dog, is your dog okay? You should have had a hold of her leash.
Now, what did you say to her when you came out?
Is your dog okay?
Okay. Is your dog okay? And what did she say to you?
I can't remember. She was just, your dog, got my dog. I'm like, how come you didn't have the leash? They were on leashes, but she wasn't holding them. And she said because of her legs that she couldn't. And I told her, then you shouldn't have dogs if you can't take care of them.
Just a second, is that what you said to her? You shouldn't have dogs if you can't take care
If
of
you
them?
can't they can't be loose. There's a leash law, and she didn't have the leash. She had leashes on them, but she didn't have a hold of them.
I'm just asking you.
Yeah.
That's what you want me to believe you said to her.
That's what I said to her, yeah.
You shouldn't have dogs if you can't take care of them.
That's what I said, yes.
Okay. And did you see her dog injured in any way?
No.
Can I see the records from the vet, please?
Yeah. And here's even photos.
And was there a report made to either the
There was,
RV?
but
Shh, I didn't finish my question. Was there a report made to the RV park
Yes.
or to the police department?
Yes.
May I see that too as well?
I don't have the RV park or the police report. They
Okay.
could not.
Okay, but
they were
could
sending
not.
me all over.
The
but-
answer is I don't have them.
Yeah, but that's just photos from the injuries.
Now, I'd like to see the vet report, please.
This is the neurology. This is all the other vet stuff.
Don't give me a whole bunch of stuff. I'd like to see the reports and the bills from the vet. And I am correct, sir, you did not see any of this incident. Is that correct?
Only the commotion
No, just
when,
a second.
when she
I'm
smacked
asking
the
you.
dog and
No. Stand up. Let's be very careful about your answer. Am I correct that you didn't see any of this incident?
only after she had smacked the dog and he dropped the dog and that little commotion right there where she picked up the dog and went in the house.
You saw it from your trailer, from your RV?
Sitting outside my trailer.
So I want you to tell me exactly what you saw. Now look at me.
Her,
Who's her?
Sarah, her picking up her dog and going back to her house.
Where was she when she picked up her dog? No, I tell you what you're going to do. You're going to show me right here.
Like halfway between her house and my house. I mean, her house.
Put a mark where you saw her, where she picked up her dog.
Can't
Okay,
see it.
may I have that, please?
Struck it somewhere. Like a couple feet away.
So she picked up her dog right near Miss Carrillo's RV.
Trailer, yes.
And where was Miss Carrillo?
She took the dog and let it up the stairs, put it in the house, and shut the door, and came back out to see.
And at that time, were you listening to what the two women were saying to each other?
Not really.
Were they yelling at each other or were they calm?
There was yelling.
So if they were yelling, could you hear what the yelling was?
I didn't know either one of them at that time really that well. I think I went back in the house at that point. Just whatever.
Thank you. You've been most helpful. Okay, you have the report from me from the 9th of October?
Yeah.
I'd like to see it. Okay, so there was one set of stitches that the dog had.
That was her first surgery.
Okay, Let me see the second time she was there.
This is the stuff for that one. And that's what why.
Well, this was the day afterwards. And when did she go
Right.
back?
It was June 30th because she was having grand mal seizures and they had to keep her because they had to start her on phenobarbital because of the
Well-
eye injuries and the head injuries.
Well, it doesn't really talk about those
That's
injuries.
in the pictures. It shows where her head was punctured.
I see one wound, and I don't see a
No,
photograph.
On the picture itself, if you see her head, there's a mark right here on her head by her eye. That was a puncture wound that they had to clean out.
Okay, now, the defendant says both dogs had a leash on, but that the leashes weren't attached to your hand. Is that correct?
Honestly, I don't remember because most of the time when I'm coming down the steps, I have their leash in hand, and sometimes, like going down the steps, I lose the leash or I drop it and they are at the bottom of the steps waiting for me because they know it takes me a minute to get down the steps.
Okay.
No, she was right by the steps because the tree is right there. It was like in between our spaces isn't even as big as this, in between here and your front of the
Of the bench.
And literally, she was grabbed right by my steps.
Was any report made by you to any animal control?
I'd called 911 and reported it, and they can't find the report, but it was done over the phone, and I waited for him to come out for a week, and I kept
Did
calling
you?
him. But
Did you?
I did it over the phone with them.
Did you ascertain from the defendant whether her dog was up to date in rabies shots?
I didn't ask any questions afterwards. I was just trying to make sure and find out what was going on with her.
Did anyone from the RV park come and discuss the incident with you?
They just asked me what
Just
happened.
a second. So the answer is yes. Do you have any sort of documentation of that discussion that they had with you?
There was no documentation.
Do you remember the name of the person that you spoke to?
Yes.
Are you still at the RV park?
Yes.
Did you tell the RV park that there was a witness to this event?
No.
Well, there were two different versions of the event. One says that your dog came and attacked hers, and you say that her Chihuahua came and was aggressive towards your dog. But you have allegedly an independent witness who saw part or most of it, who you brought to court today. I assume that the plaintiff communicated to the RV park that your dog was at fault, correct?
Yes.
And you say your dog was not at fault. Is there any reason why you didn't tell the RV park that there was a witness?
Oh, because I didn't know yet.
When did you find out that he had seen anything of the event?
Maybe like 3 weeks after.
Tell me about that. How did you find out that he had seen any part of it?
Because I was talking to him about what was going on, that she was going to take me to court, and then he said that he had
so
seen.
now you were talking to your neighbor,
Right.
which meant that you must have been at least somewhat friendly towards him
At that time, yes.
at the time of the incident on the 9th of October.
We didn't know each other that well.
But you had lived there for a long time. How long did you live there?
Since July 20.
And how long has he been living there? How long have you been living there?
A long time, 20 years.
Long time, 20 years. So my question is, what prompted you 3 weeks later to have a discussion with
Because
him?
I started to get to know him by then. I worked. I worked at that time. I worked a lot. You know, so I started to conversate with my neighbor. That's
Okay. How much were your vet bills?
At this point, it's over 10,000.
Have they been paid?
Most of them.
Okay. I'd like to see the bills, the last bill.
And can I say something about
Yeah.
what she said? First of all, she was in there way before I was. She had already been there over a year. And second of all, the thing is she couldn't have said anything 3 weeks after because it wasn't after until my leg recovered from having to have emergency surgery from falling right after the incident happened that I even decided to file court papers. So the court papers weren't even filed
Until when?
Until June.
I didn't say they were filed.
You said 3 weeks after, but anyways, so like all this
Yeah, I see the bills,
happened
please.
back in October. And I literally couldn't get to the courthouse to be able to drive to the courthouse.
How much do you owe the vet?
What I've already paid is over $2,000, or right around $2,000 in cash that I've paid. But to get her MRI, I need to pay $3,000.
There is no nexus that can be drawn
Yeah.
between the seizures that she's having now, other than other than the vet saying that it's possible that it can be caused by trauma.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's the only thing I saw there. There was not a
Right.
full report that said the trauma that she had 6 months before was the basis for these seizures that she's having. Seizures.
She was
She's
having
11
the
years old.
seizures right after the attack.
Ms. Highland, you have to understand that you need an expert witness that you don't have to demonstrate that the seizures that your dog is currently having is a direct result of this dog attack.
Right.
Do you understand? Faith is 11 years old, and
I
it's
have the
possible, just a
neurology.
second, it's possible that it comes from that. It's possible it comes from something else. I don't deal in possibilities.
Right.
All I want to know is what vet bills you paid for October 9th and October 10th.
The actual total was $1,526.62 without her medicine being involved.
Okay, well, that's a reasonable vet bill for those 2 dates. She did have 2 different surgeries. And the medications that you're talking about were also included
Right.
in that 1526.
Right.
Other than for the seizures that you want me to draw a connection with
Well-
I'm not. And nothing more is owed to the vet for those 2 days, October
Right.
9th and 10th. Okay. Ms. Carrillo, I have to make a determination as to whether or not I believe the story that her 2 little dogs rushed up to your dog that was being chained to a step on a very, very short lead with you standing right there, and whether or not I believe that you stood there while your dog that was on a very short lead, that has never had any problems with aggression before, picked up her dog twice, because once she had puncture wounds in the stomach and once she had puncture wounds around the head. And I don't believe you. Quite frankly, I don't believe you.
Okay.
And I think you're responsible for her vet bills. I think you would have indicated.
Didn't she say that she didn't have the leash, that she wasn't sure if she was holding the leash? Her
Absolutely.
dogs came
I don't answer your questions. If you're standing on your step sweeping,
Yes.
and your dog is now chained, and you see
Not
her
chained.
dog's running across, then you jump down from the step and you grab your dog. That's what you do. You have a very big dog that you keep on a very short, according to you, chain,
Yes.
and there's a reason for that. So if you're
Because-
standing over there, this is not a
That's fine.
question and answer. You're responsible for our vet bills. I believe her. $1,526, judgment for the plaintiff. With
They behaved like, even in the courtroom,
She did get bitten by my dog, but
they listened. Like, if I start counting to 3 with them,
it was about her not having them on the leash and having control of her dogs.
they go and do what they're told,
About her dog getting hurt. I mean, I went to see if it was okay.
because that's how she is.
That if my dog bites another dog, I'm gonna have to pay.
Interesting about that defendant's testimony was that when you were in your line of questioning about whether or not her dog had ever been in another fight or with any other dog, any interaction, she said no. I thought I remembered when I was reading her answer, she stated that she had a mutual understanding with the plaintiff that when her larger dog was outside, the plaintiff's dogs would be kept inside. Why would you need to have that sort of mutual understanding unless you knew that your larger dog had a propensity for violence towards other dogs?
That's true. I forgot. Now that you mentioned it, I remember that I read about this mutual agreement. I wouldn't think that she was afraid that the Chihuahua would attack her dog.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Man, I'm going to say this right away. I agree with Judge Judy's final decision here, and honestly, this case became pretty simple for me once the defendant admitted one very important thing. The dog did bite the other dog. That part wasn't disputed. So now the real question becomes, how did that happen? And whose version actually makes sense? Because seriously, Mom, you want me to believe your much larger dog was attached to this extremely short lead. You were standing right there. 2 little dogs supposedly came rushing over, and somehow your dog still managed to grab this Chihuahua hard enough to cause puncture wounds? I'm having trouble with that story too. And I think Judge Judy immediately saw the same problem. If your dog is on a lead that short and you're literally standing right there, you have a huge amount of control over that situation. The moment you see two dogs approaching, especially when you know you have a much larger dog, you grab your dog. That's it. You don't wait to see what happens. You don't let the animals figure it out themselves. You control your dog. Now, I'm also not giving the plaintiff a complete pass here, because her story about the leashes got shaky. At first, it sounded like, my dogs were on leashes. Okay, but later, when Judge Judy asked whether she was actually holding those leashes, suddenly it became, honestly, I don't remember. Come on, that matters. A leash attached to a dog is not the same thing as having physical control of the leash. So if her dogs were running around with leashes dragging behind them, then yes. I think the plaintiff also made a mistake. You have to control your dogs too, but that still doesn't automatically remove the defendant's responsibility for what her own dog did. And this is where the physical evidence mattered to me. The plaintiff wasn't just standing there saying, my dog got scared. No, there were actual injuries. There were veterinary records. There were bills. The dog required treatment immediately after the incident. So we know something serious happened. And then the defendant herself admits, my dog grabbed her dog. Okay, that's a massive admission. Now we're arguing about everything surrounding an event that you already admit occurred. And I also noticed something else that I think hurt the defendant badly, that supposed independent witness. Seriously, man, that testimony did not help her the way she probably expected. At first, you hear there's a witness. Okay, great. Finally, somebody neutral who actually saw what happened. Then Judge Judy starts asking him questions, and we find out he didn't really see the beginning of the incident. He basically saw the aftermath. So, what exactly are we proving here? He couldn't reliably tell the court which dog approached first. He couldn't establish who started the confrontation. He mostly confirmed where people were after the attack, and I loved Judge Judy's reaction. Thank you. You've been most helpful. You already knew what that meant. That witness was basically finished. And then there was another thing that bothered me. The defendant says her dog had never had an aggressive incident with another dog. Never. 9 years. Nothing. But later we hear about this understanding that apparently existed when the larger dog was outside, the plaintiff's smaller dogs were supposed to stay inside. Now hold on, why would that agreement even be necessary? That's the same question Sarah brought up afterward. I completely agree. If I have a dog that I genuinely believe is completely safe around other dogs, why would I need a special neighborhood arrangement where other dogs stay inside whenever mine is outside? That doesn't automatically prove the dog had attacked before. I'm not saying that, but it definitely raises a question, because people usually create rules like that for a reason. And if you already know your larger dog needs space from smaller dogs, then your responsibility to maintain control becomes even greater. Now, where I really agree with Judge Judy was on the medical expenses. The plaintiff said the total situation had grown to more than $10,000 because the dog later developed seizures and needed neurological treatment. I understand why she believed those problems could be connected to the attack, but court doesn't operate on maybe, possibly, it could be. You need evidence connecting those later medical problems directly to this incident, especially because Faith was already 11 years old. Judge Judy wasn't saying the attack definitely didn't cause the later seizures. She was saying, you haven't proven that it DID. That distinction is extremely important. And I think that was fair. If she had awarded thousands of dollars for future neurological treatment based only on a possibility, I actually would not have agreed with that. You need an expert who can establish that connection. But the 1,526.60 title from the immediate treatment, absolutely.